Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our final day of live streaming coverage here at the APP SUNMED Los Angeles Open. Lauren McLaughlin here, and it is the Head Pickleball pregame show. We are rounding out our weekend here in El Segundo, California, with our pro men's and women's singles. So we are getting into the action. Our men have already kicked off a little bit earlier this morning. Our ladies start here shortly, so we will have action in both the men's and women's brackets for you today. I'm joined once again for our final day by Daniel Roditi in the booth. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube as always, so thank you so much for joining us for our final day here in Southern California. We are going to have a men's match coming up next. We have Yates Johnson taking on Dylan Frazier. They are looking to get a spot in the quarterfinals. They'll take on Hayden Patriquin, the winner of this match. So we are getting into the action here shortly. But again, thank you so much for joining us all weekend. It's been a fabulous day of pickleball. If you missed any of the action on Friday for mixed or yesterday for men's and women's, please go back and watch. Some absolutely phenomenal matches were played. But today, it's all singles. So thank you again so much for joining us. We'll take a very short break and then into the pickleball action right after this. The APP SoCal Classic is brought to you by Pickleball Central, the Pickleball Superstore, catering from beginners to pros. Yola, for the champion in you. SUNMED, the official CBD sponsor of the APP. Keto Crisp, a delicious blend of healthy fat, protein, and energy to fuel your day. It's about what you can do, not what you can't. Again, welcome back, everyone, for our first live streaming match of the day. We have a men's pro singles match. Lauren McLaughlin and Daniel Roditi here in the booth, and we have Dylan Frazier on the far end. He's taking on Yates Johnson on the near end. Yates is the twin brother of Hunter Johnson, who had a phenomenal breakout run last weekend in SoCal, getting a silver medal in men's pro singles. So, I mean, you know, twins. Yates is going to want to do a similar thing perhaps today. We'll see if it is his turn to break out here today, but Dylan Frazier, the number 2 seed, certainly going to make it difficult. Frazier is going for a triple crown.
Oh yeah,
here
that's
today.
Right.
He was going for one last weekend as well, but didn't quite have as good a results in singles, so he's going to give it a good try here for number 2. Sumchoi Moy is our USA Pickleball Certified referee for this match.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that flexibility. Are you joking?
Wow.
He just did a full like
That was more impressive than anything I've seen.
that was unbelievable. Wow.
I think I hurt.
Yeah, that ripped every muscle
from
in
watching
my inner
that,
legs.
yeah.
Yates Johnson, 28 years old, from New Braunfels, Texas, just outside of Austin. He and his twin brother Hunter have played professional tennis together for about 8 years, only just recently deciding maybe it was time to retire after some injuries and just a bit of a grind burnout, I think. So we're very happy to have them over here in pickleball now, as a lot of tennis players are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you talked about the great run that Hunter had last weekend. Of course, played Federico Stocksford in the final. They had to face each other in the second round today, which is, kind of tough after a final match.
Yeah, it was
That's a
very
tough draw
close
for both
again.
of them. Yeah, it was very close. 2 games, but very close. I'm pumped for singles day.
I know you are a singles man. I know it's a good day for you.
Oh, it's a great shot. And just before we went live, Hayden Patriquin had a 3-game match over Big E Markowitz.
Elliot Markowitz.
Yeah.
Yep. Close one, but Patriquin able to come out on top. Winner of this will face him in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and Elliot was telling me he teaches with Kyle Lewis, who had a great run last weekend. I think he came out with bronze.
Yes,
is that right?
he absolutely
He got
did.
bronze. Kyle Lewis, a local. And Elliot said that Kyle unfortunately broke his pinky this week.
Oh, no.
With a 2-handed backhand. His pinky got caught in his shorts in his pocket.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
ripped his pinky.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Yeah. So, Kyle, if you're listening, we wish you a speedy recovery. Want to see you back out here, grinding it out.
For sure. We do have twin Hunter in the, we'll call it a player's box, along with Thomas Wilson, good friend of the Johnson twins.
Yeah, I think you mentioned they all live in the same area, right? I think you said that.
Yep. Yates is moving very slowly, which is unusual for him. I'm truly wondering if that
The splits.
Might have been a little much. Oh, wow. What a drop from Frazier. He's on the move.
Yeah, timeout called by Yates. I mean, if he did get injured, who can blame him? That was almost a full. I mean, literally almost a full split. Yeah, I mean, he was almost all the way down on the ground.
Yeah, he definitely looks
painful to watch.
Yeah, not super happy. He just seems like he's moving. He's been moving a little slower since that, and just the execution has been off a little bit on some of these shots. He's been there, just hasn't got a good paddle on it, which, as we all know, is very frustrating.
We have, like last week, a lot of great singles players today. I looked at the draw, and I just thought, wow, there's a lot of guys here that could make a run.
Absolutely, which is generally the case at most of our tournaments.
Yeah.
Just the singles field especially just getting so deep with talent. Which is why you can have some unpredictable results, which we saw last weekend.
Right.
Some big upsets, J.W. Johnson and Dylan Frazier.
Yeah, they didn't medal. And we've said it, several times, obviously, with Dylan not being a former tennis player. It's rare that you see non-tennis players do this well in singles. Barrientos, another example of that. There's a handful of guys that, despite not having a tennis background, do really well in singles.
And Frazier has, I got to commentate his first ever tournament where he played pro singles because he was playing doubles first, having some good results, and he medaled in his first time playing singles.
Of course he did.
And really hasn't stopped.
Yeah. I bet it was one of those things where he thought, oh, I'll just try it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll just give it a shot. Oh, I guess I'm good at this.
Oh, we got Anton Goots in the chat.
Oh, what's up,
Another
Anton?
big singles player.
Yeah. Had to play him twice last year. Great competitor.
Nice spot there from
good return.
Johnson. Johnson has such beautiful strokes because of his tennis background. But Johnson, he's just, Frazier, just so fast.
Yeah, and he's so good at the kitchen. Obviously, his great doubles game comes into play, being able to use those angles and feeling really comfortable at that kitchen line, playing the cat and mouse when he needs to. We haven't seen a lot of those points, but and then he'll do that.
Yeah, I think honestly we talked about last weekend the Johnson twins. They have literally been playing pickleball since January.
Yeah.
Not pro, pickleball period, since January of this year. So they still have so much to learn about the game as they're transitioning over, getting lots of practice. So I think, we haven't seen a lot of cat and mouse because Frazier right now is just so much better at that than Yates Johnson because he just hasn't had the experience yet.
Right.
And Frazier really hasn't had a ton either, really maybe a year at this point of playing pro singles.
Yeah, I would guess.
That's a lot of time in pickleball years.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we've talked about, just from last year, this tournament to this year, right?
Frazier wasn't playing singles last year.
We weren't
tournament.
at this location. We were at La Habra. I think JW came in like 5th or 6th.
Yep.
And then the following week at SoCal, because it was a different order last year, I think he might have gotten 3rd or 4th. I mean, just the difference in a year for all of these guys. Because in a year, they get so much practice, so many tournaments. Their game just goes to a new level, and I'm sure we're going to see the same from the Johnson twins if they continue to pursue pickleball.
I mean, already getting some of the wins that they are and getting how close they've gotten to some of the really higher level players. I mean, it's coming and soon for them to get, more consistent results. And I'm sure as a coach, you would tell people, there's a huge difference between even competitive rec play, training, drilling, and tournament play.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, he got it. That was beautiful.
That was a great shot.
Yeah, Yates needs just a few more shots like that.
Yeah, just hooks that ball in. Yeah, a big part of tournament play is just dealing with nerves, which, we talked about this with Hunter last week, that having been, on the biggest stage in tennis with doubles, playing obviously professional tennis, that this doesn't feel like that big of a deal, but it's learning in tournament play, dealing with some of the nerves that creep in, and then just playing different styles of players, right? I mean, everybody's a little different. And the more they play these tournaments, the more they will face these players, and they'll have a little bit of video to go back to and watch their own matches, see what they're doing right, see what they're doing wrong. And just getting familiar with their opponents, just knowing the tendencies that these players have. Just missed. But I like Yates trying that. I mean, he's been trying to go for passes, and now he tried to go for a couple rolls, trying to drop the ball low. And we've talked about it both in doubles and in singles. You got to try some different stuff, see what can work for you.
Yep, and Frazier is on a game point now here in game 1, but Yates has done a good job holding him.
Missed with the serve.
Yeah. It's not too much wind right now. We've been dealing with a good amount of breeze this weekend, but it's pretty calm right now here this morning. But that will be game 1 in the books here. Again, one of these players heading to the quarters to face Hayden Patrick-Quinn. But we will take a short break in game number 2 in this men's pro singles right after this.
If you like to dink, then Pickleball Magazine has what you're looking for. Our bi-monthly print publication will help you become a better player with instructional tips, drills, and articles from the top teaching pros in the sport. And you'll become a healthier, stronger player with psychological, nutritional, and wellness advice from experts in their fields. Finally, if it's product reviews or the latest news, we have that too. To learn more or to subscribe today, go to pickleballmagazine.com.
If SoCal has you wondering, where do I begin? Start here. Cheering for the visiting team? Here's your line of scrimmage. Come for a culinary odyssey? Tonight's special is everything. Here for work? Hang around for the weekend. Hit 3 theme parks. Crush coffees or crafty beers or whatever strikes your fancy. Because with friendly locals, Main Street vibes, easy accommodations, and all of SoCal within reach, no matter what you've come to get up to, in El Segundo, we'll invite you to start here.
So ready for Next Gen.
This is Next Gen Pickleball.
I'm so ready for the Next Gen Tour.
Super excited about Next Gen.
I can't wait for the APP Next Gen Tour.
I'm super excited for Next Gen.
Welcome back, everyone, to our first live streaming match of the day here at the APP SUNMED LA Open. It is our final day of coverage, and it's Pro Singles Day. Lauren McLaughlin and Daniel Roditi here, and we have game number 2 about to kick off. Yates Johnson on the far end taking on Dylan Frazier on the near end. Frazier taking game 1, 11-3. See if Johnson can have a little bit more success here in game 2. Oof. Oh. I mean, what? How does that? Come on, Dylan Frazier, what?
Oh,
what?
Great ball.
I don't understand anything that happened in this rally.
Great gets there. And then Yates with that roll there that drops in.
Wow.
Yeah, he got way wide on that serve. He was near the sideline, near the corner there to serve that ball. I'm sure he was trying to generate some angle, but unfortunately dumps it into the net. a really good return. Yeah, well played from Johnson.
Just misses that.
Yep.
And given how fast Frazier is and just kind of everywhere with his good shots, what do you think the answer is for Johnson? What's going to have some success against Frazier? I mean, that right there.
If you can hit the ball like that, those are going to be winners. But, you know, sometimes when someone's really quick, you try to go behind them a little bit, try to almost use their speed against them as they're charging one way to kind of play behind them at times.
It's just so tough because Frazier comes up to the net so well,
Right.
and then starts to cut off a lot of your angles.
Yeah.
So unless, you know, Yates can hit some really great passing shots, it's really tough.
Yeah, good job there from Johnson.
Yeah, he seems to be moving a little bit quicker here in the second game. Nice hustle there. Yeah, Frazier he's just everywhere.
Right. Yeah, so he stood pretty far over for that serve. And you really only want to do that to create a big angle, but typically in singles you're going to return up the line. And so I just feel like Johnson is giving Frazier so much court to work with, and so then he has to hit his first ball. Now he's a little closer to the middle, but he doesn't have to go as far to hit that backhand, whereas before he had to go from one corner to the other, and that just makes it tough to hit the ball early, to get a good passing shot lined up. This time he served closer to the middle, but he missed the backhand.
Yeah, generally, so in singles, generally you're going to want to serve as close to the middle
Right.
as possible to make sure you're already set up for wherever the next shot goes.
Exactly, and especially at the pro level, most guys are going to return up the line. So you certainly want to be close to that middle. Just missed it.
Johnson's been reading that well. We've seen kind of that same rally play out
kind of the
previously,
pattern.
but he overdid it a little on that
Right.
sideline. But he seems to be reading Frazier fairly well. Just needs to execute. I mean, you don't want to beat yourself.
Right. Yep, read it.
Yep, there's the execution that he needed the last two as well.
Yeah, he's made a few service errors, at least a couple in the second game, which you will see a little more in singles as guys try to take a little more of a risk with their serve.
Just again, such quick hands. And we've talked some in the past. Do you think in singles, especially when you're facing somebody with such quick hands, they're so fast, that targeting the body, especially when you're close, is a good option?
Yeah, it can be, but as we saw Dylan in doubles, he's so quick, but they just expect it less, you know, in singles. They expect to have to cover the wings. I just missed, yep. So from time to time you want to mix it up, but if you keep going there, someone like Dylan then it's going to start reading it, and then he's so quick, even with those body shots. Good serve.
Oh,
yeah, great
nice.
job by Johnson being ready for those.
Yeah, he hasn't come out on top of those hands battles much here in this match, but that time nicely done. And next up here on Championship Court, we'll have our first quarterfinal matchup. It's going to be Gabriel Joseph taking on Julian Arnold. So, talk about two fiery players. It should be super fun to watch, and our quarters are starting to shape up now in men's. As I mentioned, winner of this match will take on Hayden Patriquin in a quarterfinal. And then we have Rafa Hewitt taking on James Ignatowicz. And then our final quarterfinal is still shaping up. Federico Staxrud has one of the spots, and he will take on the winner of Alex Newman versus Mario Barrientos.
Yep.
So after that match in this one, our 4 quarters will be set, and our women just kicked off about 20 minutes ago. So we'll be getting some of those matches as well as they start to work their way through the bracket.
Yeah. Thomas Wilson giving a little bit of input there to Yates Johnson.
Definitely been much more successful here in this second game.
Time in. 6-2. Sign out.
So Johnson's gone cross court with that backhand the last couple of times. I think Dylan Frazier's gonna start reading that, so he needs to mix it up a little bit.
Sign out.
Okay, well done there. Ooh, unfortunate there for Johnson. The ball clips the net. It would have gone in, but clips the net and just goes wide.
2-6. Sign out. 6-2.
Yeah, he went cross court again, and Dylan was right there, just waiting for that ball. I'd like to see Johnson go up the line with that backhand just to keep Frazier honest. Really well played from Johnson. Moving Frazier around, using the angles. Easy put away for him. Johnson thought the serve was out. Frazier played it. Johnson was already turning around and walking to return the next ball.
Sign out. 6-2.
That's a great shot.
Yeah, it
Great
seems
read.
like he's dropping a little bit better,
Yep.
and therefore forcing Frazier to perhaps leave the next one up a little high.
Right.
And if he can be up at that net, has a better chance of trying to put that away. And he's up 7-2 here in game 2.
Yeah, great serve. Good spin on that serve. And he ran around that last backhand in the previous point and hit an inside-out forehand, which we haven't seen him do very much. Let's see what he does here. You're going to see him go to the backhand. There it is. And this time he goes up the line. Yeah.
Oh, and a good doubling up.
That's exactly what he needed to do. He'd been going cross-court with his backhand almost every time, and Frazier was reading it and was on it. and does a great job of going behind him, not just once, but actually 2 in a row. Goes back to the cross-court backhand.
Game point here for Yates. Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I mean,
Clearly that's his go-to shot.
Yeah, what a turnaround here in game 2. Score just completely reversed. And honestly, after game 1, I was a little unsure whether Yates had what it was going to take to push this to 3, but he absolutely did. And game 3 is coming your way right after this. Welcome back into the action here in our first streaming match of the day. We have Dylan Frazier on the far end taking on Yates Johnson on the near end. Twin brother of Hunter Johnson, who took silver in an explosive reveal of his talent last weekend in SoCal. So Yates certainly hoping to do the same here in LA. Oh, and he is really dialed in after game 1. I mean, Johnson just seemed really, just couldn't find anything. Nothing was really working. Couldn't really find a rhythm. Frazier absolutely dictated that first game, but he's really found, you know, what works for him in his game. And Frazier right now is struggling with that. Johnson taking game 2, 11-2, and now out in front here in game 3. And this would absolutely be a big upset if Johnson were able to defeat Frazier.
Ooh, he just missed it and it was open. Frazier was actually slipping. There was no way he could get that ball. Unfortunately for Johnson, he goes long.
We will switch ends at 6 here in this third game.
Yeah, I'm curious if Dylan Frazier is going to start trying to do a little more cat and mouse, maybe some more drops versus trying to pass as much. Just changing it up, doing a little different approach.
Yeah, he had a lot of success at the cat and mouse in game 1.
Oh, the one-hander. That's a great return. Yep, and we see the drop there from Frazier. Oh, what a great volley. Great volley from Johnson. You see here the replay, the stab right there with backspin.
Yeah, I mean, Frazier got it, too.
Yeah.
Which was
just couldn't do enough with it.
Yeah, in singles, when you got to make that kind of an effort to get to the shot, if it's not a winner, it's generally going to be over.
I like that idea from Johnson going up the line. As I mentioned, he's been going cross court. Everybody's got a go-to shot. Clearly his cross court backhand is his. But you have to change up. Even if you prefer to go cross court, you got to hit a few down the line to open the cross court shot back up so that your opponent doesn't just guess that way every time once they've seen the pattern. Yeah, Frazier definitely trying to drop a little bit more here the last few points. Johnson just doing a good job of taking the ball out of the air, not allowing it to drop.
Yeah, it's so tough.
There he goes. Yeah, it's a great shot.
Yeah, and he knows Frazier's got to kind of guess where he's going to go with that.
Serve is out.
Side out. 2-4. Side out.
Return the favor.
4-2.
Oh. Ooh, little glute grab there.
Yeah.
Upper hamstring situation there for Yates after that shot. That's nice.
Yeah. Great angle.
And he held it a long time.
Yeah, he kind of showed a big backswing and then just pulled across court.
Talked to Hunter Johnson for a minute earlier, and he said he was still sore from last weekend.
Yeah, I bet he was.
And I was like, hey, if you do better, you'll play more, and then your body will get used to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's the longest day he's had in a long time.
Oh, that stays in.
That was nice.
Yeah, it's hard to pass like that because it didn't have topspin, but just caught Yates leaning the other way.
It's going to be a timeout here from Yates Johnson as Frazier has tied it up at 4. Again, we'll switch ends at 6. And we got Hunter, Thomas Wilson giving a little advice. Gabriel Joseph next to us as well. He's going to be up next here on championship court versus Julian Arnold.
Yeah, two guys who hate to be
in the
on
spotlight.
center court. Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
really
just
tough
like,
on them.
No, the attention.
Yeah.
I hate it. Don't look at me.
They were requesting court 24, but we said, no, guys, sorry.
I mean,
we're
we
going
know
to
you
have
hate
to
it,
put
but
you on center.
You got to give the people what they want. All right, let's see. mean, this is very close. Third game here. 1 and 2 were a little lopsided, so we'll see if it stays this way or if one of these players can
Oh, that's going to help.
extend a little bit. Frazier, 1 point away from the end change.
Oh.
He
He's
almost got that with the
with a little
spin around behind the back shot.
He's had a couple net cord winners here, which are tough when you're on the other end of that.
So we will switch ends as Frazier has gotten to 6. We'll see how this plays out. Again, winner of this will face Hayden Patriquin in one of the quarterfinals.
You were talking about yesterday some of the things that make players the most upset.
The most frustrating things in pickleball.
The net court winners are tough, which of course is nothing you can do about it, and it's not like your opponent meant to do that, but they're tough. Especially if you feel like you had the ball lined up and just goes over your paddle.
There's Big H, Hayden Patriquin.
Yeah.
Looks like he's talking to Lauren Stratman and Julian Arnold there. So he is, of course, waiting for the winner of this match. I feel like Sundays is it's a super fun day with singles, last day of the tournament, but it's also a little more relaxed feeling. I feel like a lot of the pros come watch their peers as they're playing.
Wow. Wow.
I could tell immediately right here that Yates thought Frazier wasn't getting to it.
Right.
His body language
yeah,
was so
he's just
relaxed.
standing. Yeah, he wasn't really
and I
ready
was like,
for the ball to come
no,
back.
he's
Yeah.
going to get that because Dylan Frazier is so fast. He gets to everything. And then he's able to do something with it. So a timeout here for Yates as he had to learn that lesson the hard way. Nothing is a sure winner against Dylan Frazier.
Yep.
And as we've mentioned this weekend as well, the next 2 weeks kicks us back into our kind of summer next gen series events. We will be in Oklahoma City next weekend and then San Antonio the weekend after that. Adam Stone is going to be in Oklahoma City.
Nice.
Rocking out, helping with that tournament, doing some commentating because I, as well as yourself, Daniel, will be heading to England this week for the English Open, biggest pickleball tournament in Europe. So that will be streaming on APP TV. You guys might be sleeping while we're doing it, but catch up later on the action. It's just so tough to beat Frazier in the cat and mouse. Yeah. He's just so good at it.
Yeah, it looked like Johnson thought Frazier might be going back cross court. Didn't quite get to cover that line. Good return. Oh yeah, great angle.
I mean, it almost looked like a miss hit. That angle was so good. But
Yeah.
I think that was very much on purpose.
Yeah, those were risky because you don't have a lot of space over the net. And of course, you got the sideline, but it goes Johnson's way. I'm anticipating a little run around forehand there. Cross court. Oh, he was going at the body. I thought he might roll that cross court. We've seen him hit such great cross court backhands. Didn't have as much angle, so he was, I guess, going at Dylan's body, as you mentioned earlier. Didn't quite work out for him.
Johnson yelling about the net cords.
Yeah, they've not gone his way in this game.
And match point here for Dylan Frazier.
It's a little two-hander from Dylan Frazier there.
He did mention in one of his interviews this weekend that's what he's hoping to work on.
Oh, it's just such a good ball. Had so much spin.
Yeah.
Johnson, I mean, was there where he thought the ball was going to be, but it just spun. It just spun away from him.
Really nice effort by Yates Johnson, but not enough to overtake Dylan Frazier here in this match. So Frazier will head to the quarterfinals to face Hayden Patriquin. Don't go anywhere, though. We have a first quarterfinal matchup coming next. Gabriel Joseph takes on Julian Arnold. I expect some yelling.
Oh, yeah.
Just a smidge, just a smidge. That's coming your way here at the SUNMED LA Open and our final day of coverage right after this.
so ready for next gen.
This is Next Gen Pickleball.
I'm so ready for the Next Gen Tour.
Super excited about next gen.
I can't wait for the APP Next Gen Tour.
I'm super excited for next gen.
If you like to dink, then Pickleball Magazine has what you're looking for. Our bi-monthly print publication will help you become a better player with instructional tips, drills, and articles from the top teaching pros in the sport. And you'll become a healthier, stronger player with psychological, nutritional, and wellness advice from experts in their fields. Finally, if it's product reviews or the latest news, we have that too. To learn more or to subscribe today, go to pickleballmagazine.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the APP SUNMED LA Open. Our final day of play and coverage is underway. It's our pro singles day, and we have a quarterfinal match here for our men. Julian Arnold on the far end, taking on Gabriel Joseph on the near end. Both of them SoCal boys, but Arnold recently relocated to Austin, Texas.
Yep.
So this should be a fun matchup.
These are two of the fastest players on tour. So we should see some amazing gets, some great points. It'll get loud. This is going to be really fun to watch.
Onisha Smith is our USA Pickleball Certified referee for this matchup. And I actually saw peeking over, I think he's gone to make the rounds, but I saw Richie Twazin, who's one of the owners of the MLP team, BLQK or Black, here watching some awesome pickleball. So excited to have him here. That was nice.
Yeah, great overhead. Looked like the wind kind of moved the ball a little bit. He hit it from an awkward sort of position, but still managed to put it away. Yeah, great volley from Arnold.
Yeah, Joseph, one of the players we see only in singles.
Yep.
He's very, oh my goodness, that crow like almost landed on the court. He is super busy teaching at his club here in SoCal. So doesn't travel a ton for tournaments, but always a fun player to watch when we get him.
I'm laughing a little bit because I thought, what's the over-under before Joseph starts hanging his head? I had it at 2 or 3, and it's been 3 misses, and he's already. Yeah, well played.
I thought that drop might be wide.
Yeah, we couldn't see it from here, but it looked like it might be going wide, but it's not. It just drops in. Great ball. And great job by Joseph recognizing and moving in on that, taking the next one out of the air.
A little long.
This is long,
serve.
yep.
Yeah, Joseph's had some really nice shots and come out on top, but unfortunately it hasn't been on his serve, so he's not closing the gap here on the scoreboard.
There we go. There's the first one. This is a little bit like the match with Sherry last week, where we could see this go 11-1 and then 11-1 the other way, and then a very tight third game. Not that obviously we don't know what's going to happen, but it could easily kind of go that way with both these guys. I didn't really get what the... yeah, I missed it. I don't know what the issue was.
I think the ref was looking down and just they didn't make a call because they felt like it was obvious, and she didn't hear a call, so she wasn't sure what it was.
Got it. Yeah, Joseph just guessed the wrong way. Good job by Arnold kind of holding that ball, as we've talked about this weekend. He just holds it and then just flicks it. Yeah, a lot of times for the viewers, you know, the refs, they don't see, even though it seems obvious to the viewers, they're still watching the feet of the player if they're near the kitchen to make sure they don't commit a foot fault. So sometimes they don't see the ball, so they have to hear the call being made nice and loud. They're not just being difficult. They're really trying to obviously do their job. That's a great shot from Arnold.
Yeah, really nice work up the net from both players.
Yeah.
So that is game one for Julian Arnold. And again, what we saw this last weekend, we'll see if Joseph can make the adjustments. He's more than capable of doing so. In game two, we'll see how this plays out after a short break. Back into the action right after this. Welcome back to the action here in our first men's quarterfinal matchup. Gabriel Joseph on the far end. will start serving. Julian Arnold on the near end. Arnold pretty dominant in game 1. But if you've seen Gabriel Joseph play before, you know that is certainly not indicative of how he may do the next game. A little bit of a streaky player.
Yep. Yeah, as we said, we could easily see it going the same way for Joseph here. He's off to a 3-0 lead.
Oh, that ball kind of died.
A quick timeout here from Arnold. Joseph off to a quick start.
I think with Joseph too, we talk about, you know, players also like DJ Young, who just so much talent, and it's just a matter of executing in the right times, in the right ways. And I think Gabriel Joseph in singles is one of those players that he could win gold, he could be out in 2. He's just very unpredictable currently, and he doesn't play a ton of tournaments, as I mentioned, you know, mostly focusing on his job. And
That's a beautiful shot. Yeah, and he doesn't really train because there's not a lot of people for him to play with up in LA. And, you know, I think those days are coming to an end where you can just show up to tournaments and do really well without really training and practicing much.
Mm-hmm.
The competition is just getting harder and harder. We talked about it last weekend where we talked about everyone's talented now, and we're going to see this more and more in pickleball. The people who will separate themselves are the ones who are training between tournaments. Yeah, just so quick to get to that ball. Two missed returns from Arnold. These guys do a lot of self-talk that everyone can hear. Yeah, great roll from Arnold there. Applying some pressure to Joseph as he moved in after that roll.
oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, looked like he tweaked his ankle a tiny bit too. Oh yeah, that left ankle at the end there. Oof. I do not like to see that.
Seems to be okay, but missed return. Yeah, Arnold's just telling himself, make him play. He's had 5 missed returns.
Some good hands on both sides.
Yeah.
Just really nice.
Yeah, great ball from Joseph up that line. Yeah, just out of reach.
Yeah, really nice effort on both sides. Joseph working that slide side to side. You mentioned a lot of players in singles return up the line, which Joseph was doing there, just pushed it a little wide.
Another missed return. That's number 6.
Game point here for Joseph to force a third game. And he'll get it done. So, I mean, as we mentioned, these are two players that can have flip-flop scores completely in the opposite direction, and we see that essentially here. So game 3 is anyone's to take. We'll see who's heading to the semis right after this. Welcome back here for our quarterfinal matchup in men's pro singles. We have Julian Arnold on the far end, Gabriel Joseph on the near end, splitting games 1 and 2. And game 3 about to be underway.
Yeah, games 1 and 2 were really a tale of errors. So we'll see if tighten it up a little bit more. Arnold had 7 missed returns, I think, in game 2, which is just, of course, a killer. You're only forcing the Gabe to really earn really 4 points.
We'll switch ends at 6 here in this third game. Nice read there from Joseph. And it does seem, you know, we talked to some of the players yesterday. The wind was a little bit more significant than it is today currently, but a little swirly here on center court.
Yeah, Arnold just didn't do enough with that last volley. Left it right in the middle. That one right there. Just, he needed to push that to the corners. Yeah, those are painful.
Oh, I thought he was going to have another one.
Wow, what a get from Arnold. I mean, Joseph had it, just had that point almost won. But that was such a good angle from Arnold. Ooh, goes for the same shot, slides, kind of slips.
He's so, I mean, we saw it last weekend as well with Joseph. He is one of the best at that sort of like getting pulled off his feet forehand
especially
volley.
on the forehand side. Yeah, he's fully stretched out, but he can do so much still with that ball. Because he doesn't just get to it, but he actually gets to it and does something well with the volley. Where are we playing?
It's not us. Maybe an ice cream truck coming to the park for the kiddies.
Through.
Oh,
Yeah, great ball, great roll, volley.
Ooh.
Beautiful forehand.
Wow. The roll on that. I mean, he hit it so fast, too. He came across it just with so much power.
Yeah, no way.
I mean, he fully...
Yeah, I don't know. Is the camera going to catch this? No, it's not. But he jumps over the barriers.
Hurtled
Again.
over the side barriers.
Yeah, if I try that, my foot's going to make it halfway up that thing and then head first.
Then the ambulance comes for you. Woo.
Just missed from Arnold. Got an offensive timeout, I believe. We've seen the far end have a little more success.
A little bit of it.
Yeah.
We saw the first part of the jump. He cleared it easily, just so everyone knows. As you're watching singles, is there just a little pang of I wish I was out there?
Yeah.
Make you think about it sometimes?
A little bit for sure. And this tournament, even though different location, but had a good result last year at the LA Open, getting bronze. Actually had 2 battles with Joseph, 2 3-game matches, and it was a fun tournament for me, but I'll let the younger, faster boys battle it out.
I mean, for anyone that hasn't seen Daniel Roditi play singles, go back to last year's LA Open and SoCal Classic. There was some phenomenal matches, especially LA Open.
Yeah, just don't watch anything else. Watch the LA Open and that's it.
Everything else we'll just leave alone.
Oh.
Yeah, that was nice. And that'll get the 6th point for Julian Arnold, and will trigger the end change here in Game 3. Spot in the semifinals on the line for these 2 players. They will play the winner of the Hayden Patriquin Dylan Frazier match, which is going on next door. And it looks like James Ignatowicz has defeated Rafa Hewitt 11-5, 11-5 in his quarterfinal match. So he has secured a spot in the semis, and he takes on the winner of Federico Staksrud versus Alex Newman.
Yeah, that one hurts. We'll see if the end makes any difference. We saw both of these guys have success on the far end. Let's see if that proves true for Joseph. Joseph had it. He just misses it. He was just a hair late with that backhand. Missed it wide. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Love it. Both of these players just yelling at each other in between these rallies.
You mean at themselves, not at each other.
Yes, correct. Did I say each other?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I did mean at themselves.
Right, right.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you don't have to wonder what either one of these guys is thinking, because they'll tell you.
And both of these players, because they are emotional, fiery players, that's why they're kind of screaming to themselves in between, is they're trying to fire themselves up. Oof, foot fault there on Joseph on that volley. Oh, wow. Did Joseph just say, if I can't get it over, I'm walking home?
I couldn't make out what he
I
said,
heard
but
something about walking home.
it's something he would say,
Yeah.
for sure. Oh, it's too easy. Oh, wow. Great recovery. Joseph making a mistake, giving Arnold a relatively easy ball, and Arnold's upset himself for not doing more with it. Yeah, good stab there from Arnold. And when you hit it like that, it has so much backspin that even with Joseph's speed, I mean, he got to it, but the ball spinning back into the net makes it a really tough ball.
Yeah, it's really tough to get to a ball first and
Yeah.
then do something with it. It's
Yeah.
a tough combo.
Arnold telling himself to just keep making balls.
I'm a little surprised I don't see a timeout from Joseph here.
Right, I agree. Oh, that ball was going out.
Yeah, that was going to be.
It's hard to let those go, though, because if you let it go, then you have no shot if it lands in. You almost have to go between the legs or something.
Yeah, the errors from game one
And
that
no
we saw
timeout.
Joseph making.
No timeout, even though it's match point. He might. Nope, he's not going to call it. It's a great ball from Joseph. Looked like Arnold kind of missed
Yeah,
hit that volley.
I was like,
He hit it
this
off the tip.
seemed
Yeah,
like
that's
a
off
miss
the
hit
tip.
there.
Yeah, great passing shot.